Hello and welcome back to the Calm and Connected podcast. I'm your host, Janine Halloran, and today I get to talk about fidgets. I'm so excited. I love fidgets. I sometimes give day-long presentations, and whenever I do that, I actually spend a little bit of time talking about fidgets because it can be such a helpful strategy for kids, especially if they're in the classroom and they may be having some extra energy, a little bit restless, maybe having trouble focusing. Sometimes they just need a fidget to be able to help them stay on track, keep focus, concentrate on the things that they need to do. So I love to talk about fidgets because of the benefits that there are. So, being able to help them self-regulate a little bit more, being able to help them focus, being able to help them channel all of that energy can be really super helpful for kids. So one thing that I like to talk about is how a fidget is a tool and not a toy. So when introducing fidgets to kids, I always try and make sure that they understand that distinction and know that the way that you are expecting them to use a fidget in a classroom is as something that is going to be a useful strategy, not as a toy. So, it's something that kids can use while they're listening in class, like listening to a lecture, or if they're taking a test and they want to squeeze something, or during a presentation if they want something to be able to hold on to. The really important thing when I talk about fidgets in a classroom especially is that I don't want it to be a distraction to other kids, and I don't want it to turn into a toy. So for example, there's one great fidget that I actually very much enjoy the feel of, one of those like squishy footballs. So it's a stress ball, but it's a football and it's really soft and squishy, right? And so if a child is holding that football in one hand and writing their assignments or doing their math work or taking their spelling test with the other hand, then that's fine. That is using the football as a strategy to help them stay focused. If, however, that football suddenly becomes something that they're passing to their friend down the aisle, then that becomes a toy, not a tool. And so it's no longer functioning as a strategy, as a fidget that's going to help them in the classroom. I often think about my own kids when I talk about the tools versus a toy. So several years ago when they were in elementary school, the fidget spinner was huge. And so everybody had a fidget spinner. Kids were using them all the time, and they were bringing them to school. And my own kids came home when they were asking for fidget spinners that they could bring to school. And I specifically talked through, is this going to be a tool or is this going to be a toy? And turns out it looks like it was just going to be a toy for them. And so I said, well, you can't bring it to school, but we can absolutely get fidget spinners that you can use at home. And lo and behold, within the week, the fidget spinners were banned at school anyway, so they didn't miss out on much. But it's one of those things. It's important to have that dialogue with kids around what are you using this for? It's supposed to be helping you focus, concentrate, relieving anxiety, helping you get through things, but not distracting others and not distracting you from your work. And if it starts to do those things, we need to talk about something different. So I like to explore a lot of different types of fidgets with kids because, just like kids respond differently to different coping skills, kids learn differently, kids also respond differently to different types of fidgets. So for one kid, that squishy football is going to work. For another kid, that squishy football is going to just be passed between him and all his buddies in the hallway. So I wanted to share with you a few of my favorite fidgets and let you know and give you some inspiration to find some fidgets as well. So there are a few fidgets you can DIY, and then there are some fidgets that you can actually purchase. So first we're going to focus on DIY because that's kind of fun. So the first one is one of my favorite DIY fidgets. It's a pool noodle cut into slices. So I went to Dollar Tree and I got one pool noodle, and I think I got like maybe 40 of these different quiet fidgets, and it's amazing. So that's like really cost effective, right? But it's also really quiet and less likely to turn into something that they toss. I'm not saying it's not going to be something that's going to be tossed. Anything can be tossed, really, let's be honest. But this is less likely because it's not football shaped or soccer shaped or basketball shaped. It won't technically be something that's going to encourage that. And it's quiet. I really love that. I actually think I talked about this in my coping skills toolkit from the Dollar Tree in that podcast. So I'll link to that in the show notes so you can listen to that if you would like. But it's very easy to do, super cost effective, and very quiet. So you can make an entire classroom's worth of these pool noodle quiet fidgets for $1 or $1.25. The second one that I like to DIY for using fidgets is Velcro. And I know that sounds kind of weird, but I'm not talking about putting both pieces of Velcro together. I'm talking about putting one side of a Velcro underneath the lip of a desk. So at the edge of the desk, so they can have a little bit of tactile involvement there, so they can actually be like potentially using that as a way to just have a little bit of a fidget space right there underneath their desk. So it's not something that they can toss or throw, but it's something sort of attached to the desk, makes it a little bit easier. However, some kids can make noise with those, so it's just something to keep in mind. But I do like that just because it's something that we typically have in a school. We always have Velcro, I feel like. And so you can just put it right under there and it's attached to that child's desk. Something else that I've liked to use for kids is fabric. And so this is another thing that can be super helpful. And this is just minky fabric, so it's really soft. I'm a soft textures kind of girl. So this is minky and it's really soft and I find it very soothing. And I just hot glue gunned this to a piece of cardboard. And this is something that you could attach, again, underneath a desk, or it can be on a child's desk, or it can be something that they can hold. But it's just a nice, soft fabric that they can touch and be a soothing texture that they can use as a fidget. And then finally, the last DIY fidget that I like is a pipe cleaner wrapped around a popsicle stick. See, it's not... These are things I already have in my house. Now, I'm a crafty kind of gal, so I have a lot of craft supplies around, but you may have these around too. And I like it because again, I'm a tactile person, so I like the tactileness of this. And I wrapped it around and I have that pokey end stuck in so that it's still something like quiet and they can get a little bit of input there by rubbing, but it's not ball shaped, so it doesn't tend to be thrown. So those are the 4 fidgets that I wanted to share that are DIY. Again, the pool noodle, Velcro under the desk, some soft fabric, and the pipe cleaners wrapped around a popsicle stick. Now let's talk about fidgets to purchase. Now, one of the ones that I really like are wiki sticks. So this is yarn that's wrapped in wax, so it has like this really sort of sticky look, but what I like about it is that it sort of stays in this shape that you create. And so you can have kids create their own sort of shape that they want. You can make it small enough that a kid could put it in their pocket, and if they're giving a presentation, they could be able to touch that. Or if they're taking a test, it would be pretty small and quiet and not very observant that other people can see it. Again, sometimes kids don't really want people to see that they're using coping skills, so they don't necessarily even want to see that they're using a fidget. So it might be something that's a little bit more hidden, which I really appreciate. So that is one, wiki sticks. Another one is Crazy Erin's thinking putty. So I think I got this from one of my clients a while ago, but there's a ton of Crazy Erin's thinking putty out there. So that one I think turns different colors when you hold it, and it changes colors. There's ones that you can create your own Crazy Erin's thinking putty, but I really like the texture of it. I really like the variety of different styles styles that you can find, the different colors that are available. There's like sparkly ones and galaxy and that kind of thing. So I would highly recommend taking a peek around Crazy Erin's Thinking Putty and seeing if there's one that you prefer and you'd like. Kids tend to like it a lot. So I like that too. It's kind of fun to be able to play with putty. So the next fidget that I really like is a Tangle fidget. So this comes from the Tangle Therapy line of the Tangle fidgets. So it's really thicker kinds of connectors. And just so you know, all these connectors do come apart. So just be really careful if you have kids under 3, because it does look like a teether and it's not. So you want to be careful with that. But I like this because it has the texture on the top. It's kind of fun. And it is, again, something that kids can hold, you can twist it. And the whole entire line of tangles, they all connect together. So there's different versions of tangles, but they all have that same connector. So they all actually can connect together, which I think is cool. And so, I've been talking all about fidgets, and I use fidgets all the time. I like finding new fidgets. And so I've been working recently to create my own fidget, and I'm really close to being able to launch them onto the market. And I wanted to share those with you first today. So I wanted to find something that was classroom friendly. I wanted to make something that was quiet, something that would not be a super disruptor in the classroom, something that was not shaped like a ball so it wouldn't distract and become something that kids are going to throw around. So I created this quiet fidget. And so here it is. And it's got 2 little textured sides here and here that you can use and touch and move. And then inside it's got a little marble, and it has these pockets that you can pop the marble through. So it's super quiet, right? So you're not hearing that marble pop through, but it gives kids a little bit of that input to be able to move the marble back and forth. So I was pretty excited. So here's another version of what is coming out very, very soon. So if you're interested in it, please let me know, and go ahead and visit copingskillsforkids.com/fidgets, and you can get notified as soon as the fidgets are available. So I hope that gives you some inspiration on fidgets that you can find that you will be able to use maybe in a classroom setting. If you are potentially, maybe if you're the school counselor, it could be added to your basket of fidgets that I know that you have, or if you're an individual counselor, a group counselor for kids, to be able to have lots of different fidgets that you can choose from to help kids be able to manage their anxiety, to manage their distraction, to manage and help them focus. So lots of different things that you can use to help them be able to use a fidget as a tool, as a strategy that can help them stay focused and bring their attention to what they need to do. So if you like this podcast, feel free to share it with your friends and colleagues. And as always, don't forget about yourself. Take a few minutes, have a little fun, and have an awesome day.